Welcome to Injustice in America, the podcast that dares to ask, what happens when the law punishes survival? Today, we're diving deep into what self-defense really means, not just legally, but emotionally, psychologically, and morally. Because when your life is on the line, there's no time to weigh the consequences, only the will to live. From real-life stories to expert insights, we're breaking down how our justice system criminalizes instinct and how one man, Keith Michael St. Aubin, is still behind bars 27 years later for fighting to stay alive. If you've ever wondered, what would I do if I were attacked? This episode is for you. And if you've ever survived something the world couldn't see, this one's especially for you. Dear friends, have you ever had to defend yourself? Not in some Hollywood movie, not with superhero strength or a perfectly timed response, but in real life, raw, chaotic, terrifying real life. Think about it. Have you ever felt your heart start pounding because something didn't feel right? Have you ever walked faster when someone was behind you, keys clutched between your fingers just in case? Have you ever raised your voice, stood between someone and a child, or slammed a door to create distance? That's self-defense. Have you ever stayed quiet to avoid someone's rage? Have you ever flinched, ducked, or pushed someone back in a moment of fear or adrenaline? That too is self-defense. Maybe you were in a toxic relationship. Maybe you grew up in a house where fear lived in every corner. Maybe you've faced street harassment or been followed in a parking lot. Maybe you've even had to physically fight back, without warning, without time to think, because it was a moment of do or die. If you've ever experienced that split-second decision, the one where you didn't think, you just acted, that's your fight or flight response. And it's not a weakness. It's wired into our survival. Now imagine this. You're 19 years old. You've done nothing wrong. You're out at Mardi Gras, celebrating, laughing, living. Suddenly, you're surrounded by a group of strangers. They're drunk, aggressive, bigger, stronger. One of them punches you. Another grabs you. You're screaming, trying to back away. You raise your hands and say, "I don't want any trouble." You even show them you have a weapon, hoping that alone will stop the madness. But it only enrages them more. You panic. Your brain